I don't know how this is speculation. I mean, this has been going on for years, or it has been rumored for years that LeBron James could potentially be taking performance enhancement drugs. A former UFC drug cheat says that LeBron definitely take Peds, which I mean, to me, it's noticeable for one, and it's not a surprise to me because I've been going on record and I've been saying this for so long. I mean, to me, it's obvious at this point. Like, you would have to literally be choosing to be blind to not believe that this man is taking some kind of performance enhancement drugs. Like, I was having a discussion with someone and it was like, oh man, well, they was like, oh, it's natural. He takes care of his body. He's gifted and, all these things. And I'm like, man, listen, like, you know, at some point in time, the body breaks down. There have been players throughout generations. You think that LeBron James is the only player throughout history who has taken care of his body? You know, they say he spends $1 million a year on his body, which to me is funny because LeBron James is known for being so-called frugal with his money. So one would think that, someone who's tight on the dollar like myself, I'm going to go with the cheapest trainer or somebody who provides the same level of training just as close to the elites, but I'm going to try to save money and try to be, tight on the dollar pretty much. I'm going to try to save money. That's most of the time what a lot of people with money do. They cut costs, right? To me, I think that this talking point, that was a talking point that was created. It was a narrative that was created to be a distraction, right? It was a cover up. They say, hey, we'll put out there that LeBron James pays $1 million a year for his body. And, then people won't be suspicious of the fact that, that he could potentially be taking performance enhancement drugs, because it would be sketchy. You will look at that and it'll make you raise an eyebrow and be like, hold up, like, here you have a guy, 38 years old, who's, basically still putting up numbers and still being able to run up and down the court like he did when he was in his prime. Slam dunking on these guys, putting up these highlight type of posters. That just doesn't happen, So it gotta be something. It has to be. And I think eventually it's slowly going to come out. It's going to be revealed eventually. Somebody is going to spill the beans. He's going to somehow be exposed. It's just bound to happen, because it's only but for so long you could be able to cover that up and hide that from people, because along the way you're going to piss somebody off. You're going to make somebody mad, and they're going to come out and reveal these dark truths, especially when LeBron James retires. See, he has a whole lot of power right now. And one of the main reasons LeBron James is still around and still playing, he wants to remain active, because as someone said, that they'll forget about him. And they're going to forget about him, because as they said, they move on to the next. And ESPN is declining. The views, the ratings. To me, I don't even take a GOAT discussion serious with LeBron James and a lot of the past legends. To me, it's merely laughable to think that LeBron James is better than Kobe Bryant. Like, that's hilarious to me, especially what my two eyes witnessed in terms of Kobe Bryant's footwork in the post, in terms of Kobe Bryant's knowledge and high IQ of the game. It's laughable to think that he's a better player than Wilt Chamberlain, better than Bill Russell, Kareem, and Jordan. Like, that's not even a discussion no more. So here you have, it's like a bunch of LeBron James clones arguing and having a debate amongst each other. It's no more a debate of, hey, well, Kareem is better because of this, or this is like, you may be arguing with I'll say it like this: you're no longer arguing with fans of the game. It's just bronzexuals, debating amongst each other. So at first you would want to get globally, you want to get everybody to tune in, but now everybody's not tuning in because now it's just like, all right, the bronzexuals are over here. Y'all can have a world to y'all own, and then the people, the regular people, or the people who are diehard fans, they over here like not even bringing LeBron James in a GOAT discussion. So that's what bothers the bronzexuals even more, and it's like a catch-22. It's like, which one do you want? Y'all get upset when we don't talk about LeBron. Y'all say, "Oh man, you don't have LeBron James in your top 10. You don't have him in your top 5. What is up with that?" Like, they'll shame you for your list. But then when you talk about them, then they say, "Oh, well, why you got to break them up in a discussion?" It's like, which one is it? Do you not want us to talk about them, or do you want us to talk about them? But as I said, man, that was just a huge cover-up. Him saying that he spends $1 million on his body a year was nothing but a cover-up. So it could distract you from the fact that this man has to be taking some kind of performance enhancement drugs. You know, that was smart for them, or it wasn't smart because eventually people are going to catch on. It's just, you look at Vince Carter. Vince Carter, eventually his body broke down. Like I said, man, it's just a cover up, bro. Like, the man is clearly taking performance enhancement drugs, man. He's the basketball Lance Armstrong, basketball Barry Bonds. And it's going to eventually come out, bro. He heard a pop in his foot or something like that, or his ankle, whatever it is. So he heard a pop, but somehow or another he gets up and runs up and down the floor, like somebody that's running from the cops or just running around, bro. It's just like, come on now, it's just not believable. And it's like people are so gullible. But he says other basketball players will hear about what LeBron James does and go, that doesn't matter. If you knew what these performance enhancers did, you would know it does matter. We have the same, and also I'll have to note that, like, this man got all these bald patches, and they always say how that's a clear sign that somebody is taking performance enhancement drugs. So he says, we have the same drug guy. I know exactly what he's doing. EPO matters. It's the reason LeBron takes it. It matters. EPO increases your red blood cells, which gives you the endurance to play all game long. It's the king of performance enhancement. Bruh, we don't even have to read this. It's just like, anybody with like eyeballs can see that this man is on some type of steroids. Like, it's clear as day to me, honestly. If you make the comparison to like past players, as I said, there have been players who have taken care of their bodies, right? They've taken care of their bodies well. And even post-retirement, players have been in shape. You have someone like Ray Allen who eats very healthy. You look at Karl Malone. Karl Malone took care of his body. Even Dwayne Wade. You look at Dwayne Wade now in a lot of magazines, like, the man is in really great shape. He's keeping his weight down. He probably could still play. But we have to compare the playing styles. Look at the way LeBron James has played. He's been in the league since he was 17, 18 years old. And I was just talking about naturally because eventually the body breaks down. Like, that's, father time, the body has to break down. It has to. And people say, oh, he taking care of his body, he doing this, like he doesn't play a full 81 games. None of that matters because he still has a lot of mileage on his body and he has played a lot of minutes. He's played a ton of minutes. It doesn't make sense. It would be more believable if Ray Allen, someone who doesn't demand the ball, someone who could play off the ball, someone who doesn't have this grueling style, somebody who could just catch and shoot, or just you need him to hit shots and he's still around, right? That's more believable. If Steph Curry was to play a little bit longer, it would be more believable because his style isn't like LeBron where he's ball dominant and running up and down the court. Who at 38 years old is jumping out the gym like somebody who was 17, 18 years old. It doesn't make sense. That's not real. It's not believable at all. And I don't understand how people keep falling for the magic trick. There's no way a 38-year-old, almost 40, is running up and down the court, not really enduring no big injuries like that. You got to think, Kobe came out of high school. Kevin Garnett came out of high school. Tracy McGrady. You never seen these guys being able to stay around long. There's no way in the world you have somebody at that age who could play at that pace for that long. Even Tim Duncan, eventually, he broke down. And you got to think, Tim Duncan's game wasn't, as grueling and you got to think Greg Popovich is the father of load management. So, he made sure that his players were well rested. So you didn't see them stand around for too long, and you see them eventually break down because, that's naturally what's going to happen if you're a human. But for LeBron James, he's just the once-in-a-generational gifted player who is able to avoid injuries, who's able to avoid, and I'm not wishing injuries on him, I'm just being realistic. Like, it's just not real. The guy has to be on some kind of performance enhancement drugs, allegedly. Like, it gotta be. Like I said, Tracy McGrady, all these guys, all these guys have their bodies broke down and they got injured eventually. LeBron James is a ball-dominant player, meaning that he's been playing that way since he came into the league. From 17 all the way till 30-something years old, eventually your athleticism goes. But for him, he's the only person who was able to defy the odds. Make that make sense.